What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jay McLovin on the Whiskey Hour podcast, and we're gonna have a little conversation with Delta Circle about their newest remix. You may have heard it, Michael Jackson's "Beat It." Well, they gave a southern twist to it, and it is fire. Before I talk to Delta Circle, and before I introduce Earnest and Nic, and also we'll talk to them a little bit more about this. I'm gonna play the video, and then we're gonna get into this conversation and get them to their gig. And we appreciate their giving me this little bit of time to talk to them. So here we go.
Don't you ever come around here. Don't wanna see your face, you better disappear. The fire's in your eyes and the words are very clear. So beat it, just beat it. You better run, you better do what you can. Don't wanna see no blood, don't be a macho man. You wanna be tough, better do what you can. So beat it, but you wanna be bad, just beat it. They're out to get you, better leave while you can. Don't wanna be a boy, you wanna be a man. You wanna stay alive, better do what you can. So beat it, just beat it. You gotta show them that you're really not scared. You're playing with your life, saying you truth or dare. They'll kick you and they'll beat you, and they'll tell you it's fair. So beat it, but you wanna be bad, just beat it.
Man, that ain't some damn fire. I don't know what the hell is. Right now, I'm looking at my fucking fire extinguisher. I haven't even got a fire extinguisher to put this shit out. Let's talk about this. For you guys that don't know, Earnest is on the right, Nic is on the left. Earnest is a bass guitarist, Nic is a lead guitarist, Daryl is a rhythm guitarist, and Kyle is your drummer. And I got to tell you guys, I asked Celeste earlier before we got off the show who sang that song, because there's not a video, it's just a song. And she said, well, it wasn't Nic, we wouldn't be asking this question. I said, true that. So was it Earnest? Because it didn't sound like Earnest's voice. She said, I don't sound like, I don't think Kyle the drummer's gonna be it. She's like, I'm gonna go with Daryl. I said, damn, you're pretty damn good.
You would be correct, sir.
Because... So let me ask you guys. Okay, I've always said this, and I will always say this: if you're gonna do a cover, you either has to be equal to or better than. And if you're gonna change it up a little bit, then it has to have the integrity to be still have your own twist. And I think you guys achieved that. When you first teased this song, it was Nic teasing it on Facebook. He was just kind of showing you the guitar part that you kind of knew was Beat It because he's playing the main part. How did this come together? Whose idea was it to remix Beat It? And then tell us how Daryl became the guy to sing this song.
But it's actually, man, we've been tossing around an idea for a while, to go in the studio and record a cover song. So we've been kind of back and forth deciding if we wanted to kind of get something that was very well known or something that wasn't really well known. And literally, we just started jamming it in the band room 3 days before we went to the studio. And we were just kind of like, you know what, man, this might be the one that we want to do. And Daryl's just all about Michael Jackson, and man, he just grabbed it and came right in with the vocals on it, and Nic's doing all the harmony. And we're like, I mean, that's combination right there. Mm-hmm. So we worked with Fire Studio out of Richmond Hill, man, with Josh and Adam down there. We got in the studio, spent the day with them, and laid that thing out. It turned out, a little better than we had anticipated, man. We were super excited for the direction that it went.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's the best damn dollar I ever spent on iTunes. I think no, serious, and I mean that. I would have paid hell. I'd have paid $4 or $5 damn for that song because and that's not to kiss nobody's ass. That's just me telling you that you took a song that was Michael Jackson's and you put a Southern rock flair on it, and that's a very hard thing to do, guys. It's a hard thing to do to take an iconic ass song that if I just heard Nic play that one guitar and that's all I ever heard, I know exactly what it is and I know exactly where it's going. And Absolutely. The fact that you guys put your twist and it did not take away from it, but it added to it just in a different type of way, that's hard to do, fellas. That's not easy.
Yeah, there was definitely, I mean, as you can probably assume, going into the studio recording a cover, like you said, of this magnitude and popularity, there's a lot of pressure to at least try to do it justice. So,
and it's like you were saying a little while ago, we've always been the same way, man. If we're going to do a cover, it's either knock it out in the park and do it how it was originally done, or let's just take it and make it our own, and I think we found a good balance on that, and we just put our style on it, and, like I said, it was already scary to grab a song as iconic as that, and just run with it, man. And we're hoping everybody feels like you do and starts getting some more eyes coming our way.
You got to tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous were you to do that song? 10 being confident as all hell, 1 being like I'm pooping in my pants on stage. What are we doing?
Honestly, I was probably at like a 5 or 6. Nervousness, just because like Earnest said, our whole thing is we either want to do it well or honestly we'll kind of leave it alone. But like I felt like from the get-go we really had something special and something different. So I was still very nervous, but there was a level of it that was just kind of knocked off.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think I wasn't as nervous on the side of actually performing it as putting it out to the world and see how everybody else feels about it. You know what I mean? Because like I said, it's not one of those songs that you hear and you go, oh, I didn't realize that wasn't their song. So-and-so did that song 50 years ago. I mean, like as soon as you hear that open original, you're like, oh, wow, they're going to do some Michael Jackson. Like, okay.
Again, it's a hard thing to do. One of the guys in your band, the drummer never really gets, I don't think, all the credit in the world. I think sometimes they kind of get pushed because, the bass, the lead, the vocals. I mean, that's kind of who you see in the front. The guy in the back in the drums, he kind of gets hidden a little bit. But that's your timekeeper. That's the guy that keeps you guys on track. And that's the guy that makes, because without that backbone of that drums, you guys are kind of just doing your own thing. He kind of just pulls everything together. Again, I mean, Kyle did a hell of a good job on those drums, man. He really honestly did.
And he did it in one take.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
He blew me away 100%. When we sat down there, we went over it just to kind of get the blood flowing. What, twice? Yeah, maybe. But then we just did one scratch take just to get the drums and bass down, so we could start layering everything on top of it. Come the end of the day, we're like, that's the drum take, dude. That was it, man. He did so good on that song.
So for those of you who don't know, the way Delta Circle formed was it started out with Nic and Earnest. That was the catalyst, and then they brought in because Earnest got put into a sidekick with Kyle and Josh Buck Owens at the time, and then that's how they became part of that. And then Josh kind of went his separate way for personal reasons, and then Daryl comes in, and then Daryl kicks the crap out of it on vocals. Your boy Kyle's over there kicking the crap out of it in first take on the drums.
Yeah.
How fortunate do you guys feel to have those two guys come into this band and doing what they're doing and complimenting not only the performance of lead guitar that Nic puts down, but then the strong bass that we hear from Earnest? How incredible? Because I gotta imagine, you don't strike lightning in a bottle, but maybe one time if you're lucky in your life, and you guys struck it now twice. How does that feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's when we were in the studio, Josh and Adam's known me for a long time, and so anyway, they know Nic, and I've been together and all that. We're laying all our stuff. Well, then Daryl comes in, and he starts like laying his lead guitar and vocals, and they're like, dude, like, there are bands all over Georgia trying to find a singer and another lead guitar player, and he says, you have two in your band. He's like, how did you do that? It's like, no, and we are, man. We're very fortunate because I say it all the time. Everybody in this band has the caliber to go off by themselves. I mean, everybody in this band can go do anything they want, but to have the chemistry and the mindset and the drive that the four of us have made together and all be on the same page, making it happen with this level of talent, man. I mean, to have two lead singers, to have two guys that can play guitars, you got three guys that can sing. I mean, it's nuts. You don't find that in a 4-piece band,
If you don't mind, before we get out of here, I wanted to ask you, Earnest, because I know you're kind of the business person in the band, and Nic, not that you guys are, but I know Earnest kind of takes the lead on the business side of things.
I know nothing.
Yes, Nic. Yes, you're the prima donna, but he's the business. Calm down. I know. Earnest, you put out a post that I thought was very, very thought provoking for a lot of artists that may be that are local artists that are looking to book themselves into venues and things like that. And you said kind of that sometimes the venue needs to do their homework on the band as much as the band needs to do the homework on the venue to make sure it's the right marriage and it's the right thing. How hard is that? I mean, I thought it was a very thought-provoking post that you put out there.
Well, I wouldn't say it's as difficult now as it was 30 years ago, because now everything's online. I mean, it's so much easier to access what a band does before you bring them into your venue. I mean, right. The step process is a lot easier to go about now compared to what it used to be. I mean, if somebody wants to book your band, yeah, you send them an EPK, but everything that's on the EPK is your social media. Everybody can log straight into Facebook, YouTube. I mean, they can see, what your band does. And, so, I mean, it should be expedited in that scenario. I mean, it should be broad conversations between the venues and the bands, especially more so when the venue contacts the band to come play there. I understand, when a band's getting with a venue, we send our set list, we send them videos, we have full discussions on what we are able to play, what we don't play, and stuff like that. But when a venue contacts you, you kind of feel like, well, I guess they kind of done their research and feel like we'll be a fit there, so yeah, we'll go do the gig, to find out that sometimes it's not always that.
And the reason why I bring that up, it's very, very important. That post was very important, and I talked about it with Celeste, because here's the deal. Celeste had a gig, must have been about maybe 3 or 4 months back, and it was at a bar. We knew nothing about the bar. She just had gotten booked to play there. Now, Celeste is a folk singer / Southern rock, but now she's very much geared towards Southern rock. That's the direction she's going to go now, Southern rock. But Celeste walks into this bar, and it's a lot of emo, it's a lot of metal, it's a lot of this, and I'm looking like, damn, what the hell are we there. And so again, now she did a really good job. Like she did good. They were clapping. I mean, she pulled it off. But I think it's just that is just one example of what I think you're talking about is does the band fit the venue? You know, and I think that's a big thing.
No, it really is because the bottom line, our job is to keep asses in the seats and drinking beer and eating food all night. You know what I mean? So of course they want music that's relatable. So most of the venues we play, 2-hour sets or 3-hour sets. We do everything from 90s to early 2000s, country, southern rock. You know what I mean? Like we do a very wide spread to kind of hit the masses, but also we're fortunate enough that we have such a huge repertoire now. Once we see what songs are landing at the venue, we'll step back and start calling audibles on our set list, and we'll play more of that style, to keep everybody, going. But there are styles that we don't play. We can't walk into and go be on a blues stage or a traditional country stage playing Merle Haggard. It's just
right.
We might do 1 or 2 songs, but we don't have 3 hours of that. Yeah. That's just not where we're at, and that's not what we're geared up for. Right. We got a venue here in Savannah. When they contacted us about playing for them, they were like, "Hey, you guys got to have 85%, country on your set list." But that country is, 1990 to 2010. That's the stuff that we do, So we was easily able to grab, 10 more songs, fill in the set list, and it's still the same stuff we do. It's that same atmosphere. But requiring somebody to completely change their genre to fit into your venue, like that's not a thing. You can't ask an artist to do that. Clearly, you need to look for artists that are doing what you're looking for, and that's who you need to have there. And but yeah, man, it's just due diligence. Just open communication. Make sure you're asking all the right questions. I was part of that a long time ago. I was in a metal band, and we showed up to do a festival, and we had guys in there playing cellos and violins and banjos, and we get on the stage and we weren't that, and we literally cleared out 200 people.
And I think that's a good example of what you're talking about, where the band has to fit the venue, or you're not keeping the bus in the seat because their expectation is not exactly what your band style is. So, and again, you're not going to go into a downtown club in Houston where they're playing rap and go in there with southern rock because it's not relatable. I get that.
No. And I feel that falls on the venue and the promoters more than the band does. You know what I mean? Like if you contact our band and you're like, "Hey, we think you guys would be a great fit here." We don't read that as you'll be a great fit here if you change what you're playing. You know what I mean? Like that's
100%.
That's not how it should work.
Even though I do feel like Nic could do country rap if he really wanted to, but that's another discussion for another day.
You need to not be giving him any ideas here, bro.
Noted.
Hey.
Because I think if you come on country rap, I could definitely take that in a direction here in Houston if you want to do that. I do have one last question because I know you guys got to get out of here. I know you're about to do a gig. And this question is for both of you guys. And if I didn't ask this question, Celeste would kill me. Celeste apparently has named her guitar Emily Spinach off of some snake on something. I don't know, but that's what she named her guitar. I have told her that my mic name is Pedro. I love Pedro. I'm curious. Willie Nelson had Trigger. BB King had Lucille. What do you guys have? And have you named your guitars? And have you named your bass guitars?
Nope. I have not, man.
I have never named a single one of my guitars. I have never wanted to, not in like I don't want to do that, but I've just always tools for the trade, man.
We always refer to them by whatever brand they are. Like I'm gonna play the Schecter tonight, or I'm gonna play the Jarvis.
Sunburst Telly.
Yeah. Maybe we should start naming our instruments.
Because it was my contention that Nic would name his guitar Roxanne after the song Roxanne, and we would call it Roxy for short. Because I just feel like anybody that can shred that hard should call it Roxanne. That's just me.
That's where all my brain power went, is the shred, and I only have the one brain cell. So.
All right, before we get out of here, can you guys plug where you're playing tonight? So if anybody in the Georgia area is going to be there, they can come see you guys.
We are doing an acoustic duo set at Driftaway and Cafe in Savannah, Georgia tonight.
That's amazing. Savannah, Georgia. It's one of my favorite places. I lived on Victory at the Hurdy Lofts, and I love Savannah. It's got a deep place in my heart. So does Richmond Hill flashbacks. You guys are awesome. I thank you for taking time out of your busy day to come hang out with Jay McLovin for a little bit. Thank you so much. I know you have a packed schedule. Delta Circle, Beat It, Someone Else's Story on all platforms. You will not be disappointed in all of that money you spend. It's a very small amount of money, but it is going to go to a great cause. Support this band. You guys are coming. Thank you so much, Jay McLovin, Nic. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.